Good afternoon, flosstube. I'm Lindsay, Cheshire Stitcher, both here on YouTube and over on Instagram. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do my 2024 PhD parade. So everything that I had with stitches in it last year or started up until midnight last night. So I'm going to start with the oldest and work through to the newest, and quite a few of these you will see this year because I'm going to do whip go, or I'm going to attempt to do whip go. So we'll see how we get on with that, but I'll talk to you about that in my normal video, which I might record in a little while, otherwise I'll do tomorrow. Depends how long this takes, basically. So let's get started, shall we? Oh, and I apologise, there will be zips and poppers and crinkling. I'm not taking everything out. Normally I wouldn't have things in bags, but I'm not taking everything out because it's just going to be far too much work. I've just had a count up. There's 47 projects, so we'll get going. And another thought, if you are new here and you've never watched me before, I don't refer to my projects as whips. I refer to them as PhDs, which is a potential happy dance, because we all do a happy dance when we finish something. There we go. So, first one on my oldest project. I don't know when I started it. I started making a note of the year with the next project. This hasn't got a year noted on it, so anything before 2003, and it's TW's Egyptian sampler. I was the moderator for this on her forum, and this is as far as I've got. Hasn't been touched since I did my PhD parade right at the beginning when I called it a whip parade. I'm just looking for something I can put behind it. If you see me looking down, it's because my list is down here in front of me, just so that I can keep track of the stuff. So there we go. This is going to be one of my whip go pieces this year, so you will see it again at some point. I would like to get further on with it. I bought it as a kit, but I changed the kit fabric. I think this is a 28 in light sand, I think, but I could be wrong. Project number 2 you have seen before and will continue to see through this year is Nova. This is the one that the girls that I go and spend a weekend with away every year in June, we had a bit of an issue challenged that in 2026, when it will be our 20th year, we finish our oldest project or something that challenges you. I didn't fancy working on Egyptian sampler, so I picked Nova. So you have seen this last year. I am way behind because I'm supposed to be doing 2 boxes a week to get it done so that I can do the last box at the get together, but it's not happened. I will have to get my finger out and get it worked on though, and this is why you get to not see my ugly mug. There we go. I'm kind of looking through it to see what you can see. I have, while I've been working on it, I've finished this row, which I think was row I, so I will have to get it out and get some work done on it. But that's my Nova. I love it. There's 96 of these little boxes, all with different stitches. You might have the same stitch in one, but the pattern will be different. Or the colours, no. The same pattern, but different colours. Next up is this dragon. It's an old Cross My Heart, is it? Yeah, cross my heart. This isn't going to appear on my whip go board because my plan is later in the year to have it as a focus piece, because I would like to see him done. He was also started in 2004. He has been worked on since I did that first parade, project parade, PhD parade, but only for a little bit when I was doing a challenge. As I say, he hopefully will later in the year become a focus piece, because I would like to see him finished. He's over 20 years old now. It's about time, which is another reason to get Nova done. It's 20 years old. It's about time. So that's the dragon. Again, I changed the kit fabric. It would have come with Ada. This will be 27 count Linda. At the time, I used Linda for everything. I subbed Linda for everything. Now I very rarely stitch on a 28, even though that's a 27. Next up is a silver lining. This one is Orchids for Coal. And as you can see, I was very lucky. I got this chart signed. I'm trying not to get the reflection. I don't want to pull the blinds or shut the curtains. It's a little dull. We had a lot of rain last night. Luckily, I'm outside of where's flooded. Apparently, according to Facebook, there's lots of areas flooded in the area today, so... Unlike a few years ago when we had a massive rainstorm and I literally came this close to being flooded. It was one of the named storms. Anyway, that's as far as I got with Orchids for Coal. Not that huge. 2006 I started this one. So it's got a couple of years before it hits its 20th birthday. This is going to be one of my whip go projects. I will try and tell you if it's going to be a whip go project or not, but I might not remember. I've put a little pencil mark beside things that I would like to do, but I haven't actually written my list yet. So next up is another TW. Again, this is on my list. This was a kit. I think that this was my birthday start in 2006. Enchanter. I have used the kit the kit fabric for this one. I'm glad I only have to do this once a year. I tell you, it's taken me ages to pull everything together. And there he is. And the same using the kit supplies. These days I probably wouldn't. I probably would have subbed the fabric, but a lot's changed in the last 18 years. So there we go. That's the Enchanter. This is one of the ones you can no longer buy because it's got a dragon on it. So when I do eventually finish it, because I've got it in other forms, it'll probably become a giveaway. And that was also started in 2006. Another one I started in 2006. Crimson Poppies. Again, a silver lining chart. Unfortunately, he no longer designs, which is a shame because his flowers are absolutely stunning. This one's come out a few times over the years just to be worked on when I've done a UFO with Jeanette. Pardon me. I have put this down as a possible whip go project, but I might make it my project that I work on when I'm out and about. There we go. I can't see what you can see. There we go. It's quite wide. I think that's its full width. But obviously, quite a bit to go yet. I've got that poppy, and then there's another one up at the top. And this is my method of parking. Or was my method of parking. It's, I think it's a grey. Very pale grey. But yeah, I might make this my out and about project. I don't know. I haven't decided on things like that yet. It's only the 1st of January. I've got time. I don't need to think and have a project sorted until a week on Saturday when I go Cheshire Stitches. So that's Crimson Poppies. And this is in. The other things have just been in normal plastic wallets or the bag that they were in. This is a Harry Potter study case that I've got a couple. Jeanette bought one each for us and I bought one each for us, and I can't remember which way round is which, but that's what I keep my Crimson Poppies in. Next we have Noah's Sub. This I can remember I started it as a stitch along with loads of other people. Beautiful design. It is a full coverage. And I didn't get all that far with it. You can see, I mean, look, this, it's huge. It's massive. And it goes that way up. There we go. There we go, and there's Noah's Sub. This is one of those ones that I will backstitch as I go when I get back to working on it. I fully intend to get back to all of them. I'm not, well, there's one I think that I might at some point abandon. Might. But that is not something I need to decide yet. Noah's Stub was started in 2007. And as yet, it's not a Whip Go project. Next is also a 2007 start. And this is going to go on my Whip Go board. TW's Castle. I am not doing the extra wing. There is a chart out there for it, but I'm not going to do it. But I am doing a conversion. I'm doing the purple conversion. On the old TWBB there was a fair few colour conversions. I think they've all been carried across to the TW Facebook group, but I love purple, so I decided I would do it. Every time I've picked it up over the last couple of years, I've concentrated down here, so I think those rocks are now complete because they're backstitched, and I think his tail is now complete because it's backstitched, I think. But yeah, this is on my Whip Go, so you will see it again at some point during the year, depending on when it gets cold, obviously. Next is a needlepoint one called Tessellations. I haven't gotten very far with this. I had an issue getting the threads, and the last pack is missing because it was posted to me in a paper envelope, and each sort of set of threads were in a plastic folder box thing, and it got lost. So I have never actually gotten round to looking to see if I can get the threads again, because the place I bought it off flatly refused, even though it was their fault. Claimed she'd never had a problem. Well, obviously she did. And we go, this is Tessellations. Again, you get to not look at my ugly mug for a bit. I do love it. I have thoroughly enjoyed doing the needlepoint of it, but you kind of lose interest in it when you can't complete it. I mean, when the threads got lost, there was no way on the face of this earth I could order anything from 123 Stitch. That has now changed, obviously, because I order from 123, well, you know I do. So I might have to have a look and see if I can order them. And that was started in 2008. I'm very sorry, Jeanette. No blue drink again. This is mango flavoured tango. That's what's in the fridge. So, right. Next is another TW. Bear with me while I find the picture, because, oh, hang on. Oh, look, thoughtful. Just to prove I have got a brain at some point. This is TW's Mermaid. I started this. There she is. I started this in 2008. I'd been on a bus trip to York with the WI, and I'd met up with a fellow stitcher. Her name at the time was Puff the Lace Dragon. Still in touch with her now every once in a while, but she recently completed hers and brought it with her to show to me, and I fell in love, and I came home and I started it in 2008, and it didn't get worked on for the biggest part of a long time. And then in 22 I was doing one of the challenges with the semi-seine stitchers and did some more of the border. I think it's that way up anyway. No, it's not. It's that way up. So, as you can see, not that much done really. But it is on my whip go. So, at some point this year, you will see her again. I really do want to get some of these older ones finished. I did warn you there'd be noise, I'm sorry. I know if you're listening on earphones, it's not nice. I've done it myself, listened on earphones, and it's just, it does go through you. Right, next. This was started again in 2008. This is a blue ribbon design. Pardon me. Red velvet inscription sampler. So basically you've got all 26 letters of the alphabet around the central block. Pardon me. This is also down as a whip go. I'm not doing mine in red. I am using Needle Necessities number 195. They're now called Threadworks, and it's probably got a name, but I haven't got a clue. So there we go. I loved that central block. Nice, simple, straightforward, and then I kind of slowed down. But if you look, if you see, look, let me show you. Can you see? There's 4 A's. A. And then we've got the G's. And that I think is just a little, oh no, that's M. So, and as you can see, the B block is virtually complete. Let's say it's back on my, it's on my Whitgo board. So I haven't got a clue what the fabric is. I think it's a 36 or a 40. I need to dig back through all my notebooks, well not notebooks, diaries, and make a note so that when I do work on them I can show you, I can tell you what my fabric is. Next is yet another TW, one of the magazine designs. I just need to find the picture because I didn't think ahead and put a post-it note in this. Page 36. Pennsylvania Dutch Heart. It's not on my Whitgo, but you never know. I may pull it out. It's too complicated for an out and about project. Didn't get that much done. Just that central heart. That is probably a 27 count Linda, and this was started in 2016. I don't think I started this with a friend. I think I just fancied starting it. So yeah, we go from 2008 to 2016. Because I think I've said this before, I had a spate of several years where I spent my weekends on UFOs. And finished quite a few. I'd work on whatever during the week, Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday, I worked on a UFO and I finished a lot in that little gap. Next up, my daughter bought me this for my birthday one year. And I don't know if I ever printed out. It's a northern... Okay. Sorry, I just found a freebie in there. Wasn't expecting to find that. It's Northern Expressions Needlework Union Jack. I think I'm going to have to dig it out, and yeah, no, there's no picture. I'll have to see if I can find a picture for you. Did I put this as a... No, this isn't a Whitgo this year, but it will be at some point. It's all speciality stitches. That's as far as I go. I can't remember what the stitches are. No, that's the back of it. I do apologise. That was the back. That's the front. As you can see, whatever stitch it was, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I worked on it. But there we go. That's as far as I got with that. It's all been done in Dinky Dye silks. And it uses some delicas. There's the red, white and blue. And delicas, which at the time I didn't have a lot of that colour, so I just stuck a bag in. That was started in 2016. If you want to know anything about any of these projects that I haven't said, feel free, drop me a comment and I will do my best to answer it. Next, my arc. This was bought by my ex-partner to stitch for his upcoming grandchild, and that just never happened. Not the grandchild didn't happen. The grandchild did happen, but we split up, so it never got finished. Again, this was in 2016. There is a sort of a general plan. Out of my 5 grandsons, only one of them has a birth sampler. That's the oldest one. So this will at some point be finished for one of the others. That's as far as I go. And what I tend to do is, again, I'm pretty sure I subbed the fabric. This is over one, and obviously it's full cross with it being a variegated thread, and then you've got these big blocks, so I tend to sort of alternate. I'll do a length or two of this, and then I'll move up here, and then I'll do a length or two of this, or I'll work, as you can see, the octopus. He was quite fun to stitch, actually. So we've got a peacock partly done there, and an elephant partly done. This isn't one of my whip bow projects this year, but you never know, I might work on it. I have done that a couple of times and pulled out a project because I fancied something completely different. That was also a 2016 start, I think, if I hadn't already said so. Another 2016 start, and this is yet another TW. I'm doing that one, the Victorian fan. Excuse me, itchy nose. Now, I started this as a stitch along with my friend that passed away. So I have my one, but I also have her one that wasn't finished. That's as far as I got with mine. This did come out a couple of times for some challenge stitching with the semi-seine stitches. I completely missed, was it Go Stitch? I completely missed it last year, which is a shame because it was a lot of fun the year before, and it got me working on stuff that I hadn't worked on, including this. I only did borders on it, but that's fine. Again, not in my whip go at the moment. I haven't fully finalised it. I know the numbers have been called, but I haven't finalised what I'm going to have in it yet. That is something that I will do at some point today. And if not today, it'll be tomorrow, because it depends how long this takes. Right, on to 2017 now. This is something that my ex-partner bought me as a Christmas present for 2016, and we split up in about May, I think, of 2017. So it kind of got put aside and I didn't want to work on it. But again, it has come out. It came out for the Go Stitch. Pardon the crinkly. I finished what is essentially the front cover. It's a cross stitch guild kit. Loved it. Really enjoy it when I do get it out, but I just don't get it out enough. But again, as I say, it was in my Go Stitch. This one is in my whip go list. As you can see, I finished that side of the page, because once you've done it, you do four-sided stitch down the centre, and that forms the spine. So this one's half finished. So my my goal for this one is probably going to be to finish that one. In general, I think it's going to be stitches as a goal. But it could change yet. We don't know. I don't know. Because ones like that, that one would be finished and the next one would be started. So that was a 2017. Right, next, also in 2017, you have seen this a fair few times. Last time it came out was Caroline Stitch Corner did Sunflower September. So this came out for Sunflower September for a little while. As you know, I love sunflowers. I change the fabric. Don't do Ada. I'm not very keen on black. It's got salvage, it's going to go that way. There we go, that's as far as I've gotten. Fabric that I switched it to is a sparklies called Fildas, F-I-L-D-A-S. I can remember how to spell it. I can't pronounce it, but I know how to spell it. And it is an opalescent fabric. I do have a bit of trouble working on it when I do pull it out, but never mind. I do enjoy it when I do, and as you can see, I'm back stitching as I go. This one is on my whip go. I very much doubt, unless I put in something like Victorian Fan, that I will have any finishes through whip go this year. Next year, if I do okay and I do it again, quite possibly. Next is, I have it written down as Linen and Threads Mystery, but it's now Fox and Rabbit. This is the 2017 one, and this is the one that I haven't got a picture, I don't think. Bear with. Another chart that shouldn't be in there. That's a photocopy of something I've stitched. No, there's no picture in here. As I say, it's Linen and Threads, and that's as far as I got on part 1. I'm thinking that this one may well be abandoned. I don't know. I'm unsure yet. I haven't fully decided, but I'm doing 90% of it is going to be in white, and then on each band there's just going to be something that I'm going to say, right, I'm going to do that colour. So as you can see, I picked out the blue for the birds. Again, undecided. This was a 2017 start, and it's not on my whip go list. I think it's a 40 count sand fabric. I don't know. I mean, that's one section. There's another 2 to go either side of this. So we'll see. I do still love it, but I don't know why I stopped working on half of these projects. I couldn't tell you. Next, we have one that was a stitch along. I was on a retreat and somebody bought this magazine. We all fell in love, and quite a lot of us started it when we got home and we'd picked fabrics and stuff. I'm just looking for the picture. I have no idea if any of the others have ever finished theirs. Come on, where are you? Would be so helpful if magazines gave, oh, there it is. Okay, page 18. There we go. Sorry, that took me a bit longer than it should have done. Happiness is a rainbow of new thread skeins. So that's what it looks like. And this is how far I got. Now, I do remember I worked on it for some reason or another, and I had to frog most of the word rainbow. I'd done it in the wrong place, I think. Or it was too high, or it was too low, something. I just remember having to frog it all. So that is as far as I got with that. And fabric is Sparklies. It's an opalescent, but I couldn't tell you what it was called. Couldn't even tell you the count. But there we go. Is this on my list? This is on the list. Again, I enjoy working on it. And if I actually pulled my finger out and did some on it, I'd probably stand a pretty good chance of getting it finished in the next year or two. Sorry, it's being awkward about going back in. It's literally just in the bag that the magazine was in. I'll have to, at some point, make a bag for it. I'm sorry about the crinkly again. Next, this is also on my list for Whip Go, and this was started in 2018. This is Wayward Garden. Oh. Thoroughly enjoy this, and if I go with the list that I've got and the way I've done it and all the dots, this is one of the ones that would be worked on in January. But again, I'm thinking I may not do that, and then I can have it as a focus piece later in the year. But then again, I could work on it in January and still have it as a focus piece later in the year. I'm doing it all in the called for MPIs, and I think my fabric is, I know it's a Lakeside Linens, I'm not sure, it's either bisque or navy bean. And that's how far as I've gotten. Absolutely love it. Thoroughly enjoy it. As you can see, I've done the 20, but I haven't done the other one. And even when I do stitch the other box, I'm not going to put the year in it, because if I put this year in it, yeah, there's no way I'll finish it this year. Unless I make it a focus piece or something like that. But again, I thoroughly enjoy it. All this wording down here is all over one. So it's one of them ones I do a length or a word or whatever. I do a little bit and then I move on to something else. So as I say, if I do decide that this is going to be a Whip Go, then it should be worked on during January. But I can always make it a focus later in the year. Love that one. Really do love that one. 2018 that was started. Another one from 2018 that's also on my Whip Go list. Peacock Cipher, Just Nan's Peacock Cipher. I'm no good at working out ciphers, so I haven't got the foggiest what it is and what it says, because there is a cipher in it, obviously. Started in 2018, and it's being stitched in the call for silk. I had a floss mum at the time, and she started this and discovered that she was actually allergic to silk. So she sent it to me, the silk pack, and that's as far as I got. It did come out for the semi-sane Go Stitch thingy, because P was called. Basically how that works is the letter's called each day, and if you've got a project that starts in that, things like A, at, and the aren't included. But P was called, so Peacock Cipher. If you haven't got a project that fits, you yell Go Stitch and stitch more stitches on something else. Again, love it, thoroughly enjoy it, and it's on my Whip Go list. Again, it's just been stored in the bag that the chart came in. I haven't got a clue what the fabric is. It'll be a Sparklers. Let's see if I've got a piece of paper with it on. 29th of January 2018 I started it. I've managed to find it, probably last time I pulled it out. and the fabric is as sparkly as it was one from her, I say oddments box, but it's might be a missed dye, or she just needed to use some dye up, so she grabbed an odd sized piece of fabric and chucked it in, and that's what I mean with an oddment box. So next is chunky sunflower cushion. This was started in 2020 during lockdown. It's cross stitch, but it's chunky. I'd struggle with it because I find, like you do with tapestry, it's hard to decide where you're supposed to put your colours. So that's as far as I got. I really should try and put something behind it. Sorry. There we go. This is also on my whip go. And it's one of them ones I think probably wouldn't take too much to finish it. Next was my 1st of January start in 21. Cirque de triangles. I've done cirque de cirque. Kate did a custom die for me because I decided that whereas everybody else was doing theirs on dark fabric with bright thread, I decided I was going to have bright fabric and dark thread. So she did me a custom die. My Cirque de Cirque is on Sparkling Sunflowers. And this obviously is a bright green. And that's as far as I got. Again, I think it came out for Ghost Stitch in 22 for a little bit. And it's also on my whip go. I didn't want to put all TWs at the beginning because I thought I kind of split them up. I do need to get my list done. I'm rabbiting, I'm waffling I know. This one I do not have a cover picture for because I bought it as a PDF. And when I started it, I wasn't doing flosstube, so I need to find the PDF and print one out for you. This is by Cross-Eyed Cat. This is called Labyrinth. So as you can see, it's circular. This is my birthday start. If you've watched my Box of Doom videos, you will have seen Triangularity. At the time, that was the only one I could get. I couldn't get Labyrinth and I couldn't get Maze. And then when she started a Etsy shop, she posted, Cat Roacher posted and asked if there was anything that anybody would like to see in the Etsy shop. And I was like, yeah, me. Labyrinth and Maze. So she put them in. They were one of the first ones to go in the shop. I immediately went and bought them. And I've only started the Labyrinth one. Again, it's on my whip go. So whether or not we will see it, if I decide to change my mind on projects that are going in it, which I probably won't, to be fair. I pretty much just went down my list and marked them. I'm not done. I'm not going to do a board. I'm just literally just going to work my way down a list. Is it numbers called? A numbers called. Right, next. Again, no cover photo for this. This is in the other Harry Potter bag. As I say, whether or not I bought this one for Jeanette and myself, or Jeanette bought this one for herself and me, I can't remember. I haven't seen any more, and it's a shame because they're really good. This is Jolly Old Chap gnome, and it's the BDSL, I think it is, design studio or something like that. Again, he is on my whipgo board. He was started in 2022. Basically, it's a gnome with a bowler hat stood beside a phone box. A UK phone box. The bright red ones, the ones that we don't have anymore because they've all been... Wow. You do still see them around. They've been converted to all sorts of things. I've seen them as a book borrower. I've seen them as a phone. Some people have used them for planting as greenhouses. But there we go. I do love him, and I will get back to him. He was started in 2022, and he is on my list. Next one, I haven't pulled it out because it's all wrong and needs a massive amount of it frogging, and I kind of put myself off. I might just restart it at some point. This one is Quaker Ball. Amaryllis Artworks. I'm doing the central one. Again, it's on my whipgo. I am not working with the colours she suggested. What I am doing is literally just going, I fancy that colour. I've pulled out all sorts of things from stash. There's a lot of needle necessities and things like that in there. This is a DMC variegated, which number I can't remember, and I've just thrown the bag. Hang on, grab the bag. Ooh. No, can't reach it. But it is a sparkless fabric. These two are needle necessities, and as I say, this is a DMC variegated. And that's to join all the pieces together. I love stuff like this. And this is also on my whipgo. Itchy nose. It's the first page. So, next was my January start in 2023. A stitching sampler by Bothy Threads. Started it, didn't work on it for the biggest part of a long time. And I think in my last floss tube I showed it. I just suddenly decided one day that actually I fancied working on something completely different, and pulled this out and did that. I can't remember if I did anything else, but I know I did the blue. This isn't marked down as being on my whipgo, but it may well end up on my whipgo. Because I love it. I absolutely love it. I know the fabric's 32 count, it's what came in the kit. Next, in a bag I made myself, one of my very early bags. Unfortunately, I can't get this fabric anymore because the place is shut down, as far as I am aware. This was started as a stitch along with Jeanette, and we both struggled with it. I actually managed to buy the kit twice. So Jeanette bought one off me, and we had it as one of our stitch along projects. I think we both kind of got to one of the mice, and for some reason we both really struggled. And that's as far as I got. I think it was these mice up here that caused the issue. as you can see, I did my method of parking, but mine is done. I think I've got these two to back, or that one. Well, no, they both need some back stitch on them, but I was doing it as I went, back stitch as I go, like I normally do. Again, I would like to get back to it at some point, because I do love it. I'm pretty sure it was these mice that kind of put me off for some reason. You know, you get a project sometimes and it just doesn't work right, and for some reason every time you pick it up you make a mistake. I've got another one of them. I'll tell you about that when I get there. Oh, next is the Cotton Club Crafts. Cotton Crafts Club? I can never remember that. She did a stitch along last July. It was a little snowman cut into 4 sections. It has been out. He was out at some point in December. Whether it was before or my last regular video, I can't remember. But I've done a little bit more on him. Again, if I put him in my whip go, I could get him finished. But I don't know. He's not marked down, is it? Most of my whip goes are my earlier projects. So my fabric is an oopsie piece from Country Stitch, which apparently are still going. And it just calls for DMC. But I know he came out at some point at Christmas. Next, you will recognise this one instantly. The next one I started was the commission piece. She's coming on. I am hoping that I can get her finished by about the end of March, middle of April. There's quite a lot of, this is really all there is left. There's a little bit down here under the bar, tube, whatever you want to call it, of the Q-snap. But there is a lot of blocky stitching to do left to do on her. So with any luck, I can get her finished this year. Well, I am getting her finished this year, but I'd like to get her finished earlier in the year rather than later. Next is a project that I started for Doodlecraft after I'd finished, was it the gammon? The chessboard. She said, you want to do another one? I said, yeah, just don't do me a chessboard. So she sent me this one to start. And she knows it's been started, but she knows that I'm concentrating on the commission piece, which came through her. So I haven't done all that much on her, and she's on Ada because that's what they supply and it's their kit, and I can't really change it because, you know, it's a kit that they stock. But that's as far as I got with her. But she will be, once I've finished my commission piece, she's going to be the first focus project that I do to get her finished and sent back. This hadn't been started, I don't think. In fact, most of the last few things hadn't been started when I did my very first PhD parade. Next is one that I started for Love Quilts and realised I wasn't going to get done in time. I do not have a picture of it. It was bought from Etsy. And it's giraffes, basically. It's a mum and a baby giraffe with the heads together. And in the original pattern it says, I love you, mum, or well, mom. Because it's an American designer. But I've never Never got around to finishing it. I will get it finished, and then I can either send it in as an any child square, or I can hang on to it until another child wants a giraffe on their quilt, and I can send it in then. But it will get finished because it's a giraffe, and I love giraffes, as you know. Oh, that's where that is. Yeah. One of the things I may well start this year. I wasn't sure. I knew I'd printed it out. Pomegranate sampler. Our Forest embroidery pomegranate sampler. I've just got one colour for that left to convert, which I do now know the best conversion number for it. I just have to order it. Next is something else that was a stitch along with Jeanette last year, and we started it and we both decided that we weren't going to get it done for Christmas. As far as I'm aware, she has finished hers apart from putting beads and things on it. Again, here's something that I'm going to pull out at some point this year. Again, I may change my mind, add him to my whip go, and get him done that way. But there he is. That's as far as I got. Oh, I got my... Did I write down? Hang on. Okay. You want to see that, not my review book. My fabric is a Colour Cascades 32 count Lugana called A Whole Lot of Love, and it was a gift off a friend in 2017. I remember the year well because I'd split up with my ex-partner, and she found out later that year that I was going to be on my own at Christmas. So she put her foot down and said, "You're coming to me." No argument, end of discussion, you're coming to. So I went and spent Christmas in Cumbria. And she gave me that piece of fabric. And this is my first long dog, St. George's. I started this last year as part of the My First Long Dog and Let's Get the Dogs Out hashtags. Alba Stitcher started it, I think, and then Stitcher Sally joined in, and Elaine, Ellie Welly Stitcher. And that's as far as I got with mine. Now, the main reason being that I didn't do any more. When I started it, I worked out how much thread I would need based on 1/2. When I actually came to start it, because it's an extra fine silk, I didn't like the coverage, so changed to 2. Got in touch with her about it, and one reason or another, she missed emails, I missed emails, or I just didn't get round to responding to her emails. The batch had sold out, so I can't get any more of this, so I haven't gotten round to taking it with me when I go to Harrogate to find a colour that I can do in the centre, because I am it's a 36 count blue lace agate from Sparklies is my fabric, and then I'm using a paint box silk, but it's a very, very fine silk. I should have gone for a slightly thicker one, so I'm not sure I'll have enough, so I'm going to concentrate on the outside, as I say, and then move and maybe look at doing the centre in a different colour, which is one reason it's not been worked on. And that is the last of my projects started before the 1st of January 2024. Excuse me. So, we're on to this year's starts. I was so excited last year at Christmas. I got this off my girls. I've always loved this kit, loved it for the biggest part of a long time. was ecstatic to get it. Started it on the 1st of January, worked on it a couple of times, and then it kind of got left. So it's another one I will be going back to it. I absolutely adore it. That's as far as I got. It's a 35 or 36 count. It's the linen that came in the kit. And I love it. I thoroughly enjoy working on it. I just don't work on it. But I think I'm going to try and do better this year and work on stuff rather than leaving things languishing. It's got about 1,000 stitches in it. I worked on it. For some reason I wrote it down. I don't know why. So when I started it on the 1st of January, I did 602 stitches. And then I did 413 stitches on the 5th of April. So it's got just over 1,000 stitches in it. And then I didn't work on it again. And this is in one of these hobby gift bags that I bought from... Here's me putting my hand over the chart. That is one of the photocopies of the chessboard that I did. Just using it as a note. You're not going to get anything from that. So that's what that one is. Right, there we go. So, next project started last year. This is the other project that I said every time I picked it up I made a mistake. It's in this bag that I bought before I started making my own bags. And it's my temperature chart that I started last year. And I got... Pardon me. I got January completed. I remember that. And I got February completed. So I started started it in the middle, worked up here, so these boxes came over here. Now on the chart it doesn't give you the date. I decided, because otherwise I would have been, I haven't got a clue which way I'm going. I would never have remembered the date, which would, you know, if I'd worked up and down or side to side or whatever, to why I did the dates. And I have tried picking it up a few times since, and every time I pick it up, obviously the next thing for me to work on is this honeycomb, outer honeycomb. I can't get it right. I end up frogging it and restitching it and frogging it again, and I don't know, I just seem to have a bit of a mental block on it, so it's in the naughty corner for the time being. It will come out and it will get finished. Am I going to do another one this year? Highly unlikely. I did think about doing one, and I did find a free one, but we're not very happy with that company at the minute. But I'll tell you about that in my normal costume. Then we have one of the loves of my stitching life, which again has not been worked on for quite some time, unfortunately. And it is, let me take these out, the Union Jack, the Quaker tile Union Jack. Love this, absolutely love it, adore working on it, and I just haven't been working on it this year. So I will be going back to this. It's not on my whip go. Like I said, I'm trying to use all my older ones, but this will get worked on. My fabric is 40 count Bluetiful from Fabrics by Crafty Kate, and I'm using silky threads. Love it, absolutely love it, and I have really missed working on it. So it will be appearing this year. Because I have to spend so much time on the commission piece, the other stuff gets neglected. We're nearly finished. This one was my Leap Day start. Black velvet inscription sampler from Blue Ribbon Designs. The chart was a gift off my youngest daughter a couple of years ago for my birthday, and I decided to start it. Only I'm not doing it in black, I'm doing it in a dark blue. Oh, there we go. 40 count Newcastle linen that was my friend that passed away. It was in her stash. And I am using Sulky 1293, and that's as far as I got. I did the first one, which is A, isn't it? Yeah, A. That was it. That was as far as I got. But I've got 4 years to finish it. Ha ha. You know, I've got projects that are 20 years old. And I'm saying I've got 4 years to finish it. But it only means I need to do a block or 2 a month. But I just don't do it. Next is my one remaining Mania start. In a bag I made myself. My other half said to me, why don't you try putting the inside fabric on? And so I did. I'm not overly keen on that look. Not overly keen on it. So I haven't done it again. This is Luminous Fibre Arts Gathering Honey. So this was my first Mania start. No, it wasn't my first Mania start. It was my 3rd Mania start. I started one each Thursday in May because my birthday falls on a Thursday and I was having you start on my birthday, or it fell on a Thursday last year. I don't know what day it falls on this year. So I started this, and it's my first ever attempt at 45 count linen. I bought some linen, a pack of linen, some like 9 squares, and there's a 45 count and there's a 50 count, and I've never tried it, so I thought I'll just pick something little. And I can work on it in short bursts, get my magnifier, and it's even better. But I've got new glasses now, so I might be able to see it better anyway. And that's all I can tell you is 45 count linen, literally. As I said, that's all the label says, 45 count Italian linen in ivory. I am using 113 Cobar Dinky Dye Silk. I just had a root around in my stash for something that was honey coloured. That's what I came up with. So I do keep pulling it out, and I do work on it when I feel like it. So that is something that will get worked on again. Next, in a bag I made myself again. This was a Christmas gift off my ex-husband in 23, and I just decided to put it on here. I started this when I was on my annual weekend with my friends. It was a stitch along with Jeanette. We actually haven't started anything else since. It was her turn to pick, and she picked Tulip. And we worked on it on the day we started it, which was the 9th of June. And then we both decided that actually, as much as we love this, we'd both rather carry on working on Tonna, which is my birthday start. So that's what we did. So when we get back to doing our stitch alongs, which we're going to have a chat about that, Jeanette, we're going to have to get that sorted out, because we need to get back to them, don't we? Get that list down. This is going to be the first one that we go back to get her done. And then it's my turn to pick. We take it in turns. Only fair. So, yeah, that was that one. My fabric is 32 count Ivory Murano, I think, which is what was called for. I just happened to have the correct fabric. Didn't set out to do that. There we go. Next is the stitching box. You may remember I went on Linda Lancashire Stitches retreat. I went down to the Nimble Thimble and I only bought one thing. I did only buy one thing, which was this. And I'm working on the pin cube because that's the one my partner picked. I showed him the picture and said pick one but not this. I want to do that last, and he picked the pin cube. I had to get it started, otherwise I would have had 4 people shouting at me for it. I was hoping to finish it last year, but that didn't happen. So last time you saw it, I'd finished off this central flower, which is the one on the top that you saw in the picture. So I will get back to this. I want this finished. And I would like to get another couple of bits done. Depending on what's picked, I would like to have some more of it done before I go on Lynn's retreat at the end of May. In my dreams, it's finished completely by then, but obviously that's not going to happen. Which is a shame, but there you go. Next, I have this was my Jolly July, Christmas in July start. Bought at the Jingle Ball in 22. Merry and Bright. This has seen some love, so I will fill you in on the details when I record my normal floss tube, which, given that it's 1:10, is probably going to end up being tomorrow now, because I want to get a new second year starting. So that's how far we got. This is also a contender for the Out and About in the World project, because it's all in DMC, so it means that if I'm sitting in the pub for the Cheshire Stitches and it gets grubby, that's fine, because I can just give it a bath. So I do enjoy working on it though. I did make a change. These boxes are supposed to be done in white and I really wasn't happy with how it was looking, so I changed it to 762. As you can see, it's not that big, but I think that would make a really good travel project. 32 count Murano, I think it's a Murano, and it's the call for DMCs. Yeah. It was a 5-part mystery stitch along, but it worked out really cheap, so I decided I'd buy it because I don't normally do mysteries. Next, in yet another bag I've made myself. This was Soedi's, Soedidee. They're Dutch. It was their summer stitch along. Didn't get that far with it. Again, I would have loved to have finished it last year. Didn't happen, and I will get back to it this year. This is Hendrika Gast, 1863, I think. I'm doing it in the sulky conversion, and my fabric is a 35 count tin roof from Weeks. What I tend to do, and again this came out last month, I tend to alternate between the big letters, which are eyelets, and then I'll do a bit of something else, and then I'll go back and do another bit, and I'll keep working like that. So I'll probably, because I think there's 2 rows of letters that are eyelets, I'll work down and finish that one so that I can start on the bits in the row underneath. Another one that I thoroughly enjoy stitching and just don't get to. Again, another doodle craft design one. Lady got in touch with them and asked if they could stitch it, and they said no, but I can put you in touch with someone. So she did, me, and so I've started it. I can't remember what you saw last time. This is another one of them ones that when I've done my 200-ish stitches a day on the commission piece, I work on this for a little bit. I can't do massive amounts depending on what I'm working. So if I'm doing like this, where it's all piercing the Ada because it's all quarter stitches or 3/4 stitches, I can't work on it for very long because it makes my finger and my hand very sore. Whereas if I'm doing like I did this, and all of this black line was done in one, because it's just straightforward stitching, there's no mucking about, essentially. It's on 18 count, is it 18 count? No, 14 count Ada, with the called 4 DMCs. So next time I pick it up, which will be in the next day or two, I'll probably finish this length of thread off on the border and then go back to working on the daffodil to get that worked on, because obviously the quicker I finish it, the quicker I get paid for it. Right, and then there's this one and one more. When I went to the Yorkshire Stitching Retreat in October, I bought the chart for this off Hazel, who is Pretty Little Thread Keeps. I'm thinking I should really link all of these things that I've mentioned, but it's going to take me long enough as it is, so I may not. But this is Quaker Study by Carriage House Samplings. I saw her stitching this last spring at Stitching Day at the Nimble Thimble, and it's one of those ones that I've seen over the years and thought, I like it, but I always thought it was a bit drab. Well, she was doing hers in a selection of golds. She'd just gone through a stash and pulled out golds. But while I was at the Yorkshire Stitching Retreat, I ended up, I'd been eyeing NPIs on one of the I can't remember what her name was, and I was loving these two colours. So that's my colour palette. My fabric is 35 count linen from, no, it's from Weeks. It's 35 count linen and the colour is linen. There we go. And I wasn't going to start it. I was going to wait and I was going to make it a start for this year, but it was one of those ones, it just kept whispering in my ear. So I gave in and started it in early November. And that's as far as I got with it. But oh, I love it. Again, absolutely love it. Don't get to work on it. I think I'm going to have to sit down at some point in the next few weeks and work out a bit of a rotation for myself, so that things like this and the Quaker flag don't get neglected again, because I don't want to neglect them. I want them finished. I'm sure you do. Love stitching on it. MPI silks, as I say, it's Wheat Dye Works linen in linen, and in a bag I made myself that went a bit wrong. It was, oh pardon me, it was supposed to be one of the ones that was taken to create nostalgia, but obviously with the corner being wrong, I thought, no, I'll use it myself. So there we go. And then my last one, my very, very last one, is overdue. it's the Gruffalo for Love Quilts. This should have been at Love Quilts HQ 3-4 days ago, and as you can see, he's nowhere near finished. So he is another one that will be finished this year, and I will either hang on to him for another quilt that somebody wants a Gruffalo, or I will send it in and they've got it as an Any Child Square. That's only the second time I've ever done that. Kind of lost track of days, and we run up to Christmas, we all know how busy that can be. And I got my dates wrong. I thought it was due January, but there we go. So there we go. Those are all my PhDs, all 47 of them. If you've made it this long, well done. I will be, I don't know, it's 1:15, so I might pull out everything and record my normal floss tube. But then again, I've got all of this stuff to put away, all 47 of them. So I might just leave it and record tomorrow, because by then I'll have 3 new styles instead of 1. I might do that actually then. All right. So if you've made, like I say, if you've made it this far, well done. I can't remember if I wished you a Happy New Year at the beginning or not. If I did, I've repeated myself, and if I didn't, Happy New Year. I will be back soon with my normal floss tube, as I've just said, and if you have any questions about any of my projects, feel free to ask and I will do my very best to help you out. Bye.